What is up, Starseeds? It's Sid, and today we have a science-y video with my spiritual twist on it, of course. I used to do videos all the time where I would have my computer and I would have these notes and sources. So my sources for this video are going to be in the description. I just got to researching a little bit real quick. If you have any research articles that you have found on this topic, drop them in the comments below. I will totally take a look at them. But what I found just from briefly researching these subjects is that there's not a ton of solid research evidence on it, okay? Parts of this is more studied than others. For instance, how long does somebody's DNA stay in you after you kiss them? A pretty good solid answer is that it's not likely to stay after, really after an hour or two, probably not after 5 hours. The longest is probably 24 hours, maybe a day or two, but that's like a rare extreme case. You would have to be kissing, making out for a long time, different factors coming into play for the DNA to last longer than a day, okay? Only way it can last longer than a day, only way for it really to become a part of you is if they give you oral herpes or some kind of viral thing. But if it's just a regular smooch, you're not exchanging, possible diseases or anything, then it's gone within a few hours, a day tops. If you have intercourse with somebody, I know if you're a girl, the guy's sperm can live in you for like 5 to 7 days and then it's pretty much toast. There's not really studies on how long a girl's DNA stays within a guy because sure, the girl doesn't give you sperm, but like you guys are exchanging bodily fluids and there's DNA within that. So I'm assuming on the guy's end that whatever like girl DNA can stay on his body, possibly in his body to a certain extent, for kind of similar to a kiss, maybe somewhere in between that hour mark, probably not 5 days, but it might linger for a few hours or a day if you're a guy. But like I said, if a guy's sperm gets in you and you're a girl, it could be there for a week. Now, I wanted to research this topic because I kind of already knew those facts, but I wanted to see if there was any evidence of DNA, or not exactly DNA, but just, I don't know, stuff staying with you from previous partners. There's not good solid evidence on that, but I did find this really cool study involving flies where past male partners that female flies had seemed like it contributed to what the kid fly looked like, okay? So I'm going to explain this study. Tell me what you think. There hasn't been solid evidence that supports this happening in humans, but you can't just ignore this study. Like, it seems pretty interesting. So they had these virgin fly girls, and then they had big flies and little flies that were males. So they had a female mate with a big fly first. Did not have a baby. Then she mated with a small male fly, had a baby. You would think the babies would be small. They were big like her first partner who she didn't get pregnant from, okay? Then they tried it the other way. They had a female fly mate with a small male fly, didn't have babies. Then they had her mate with a big male fly. You would think the babies would be big. No, they were small like her first partner. It might just be a thing in flies, or it might happen with other animals as well. But so they tried this. They glued down the fly penises so that like they couldn't get sperm in the female fly. So they had her mate with the big male flies with the dicks glued down so it couldn't get sperm in her. And then obviously didn't have a baby, then mate with a small male fly, the babies were small, okay? Had her mate with a small male fly with its dick glued down, didn't have babies, mated with a big male fly, had babies, the babies were big. So only in the instance that like the sperm got in her did it seem to contribute to future partners' kids. I don't know, just an interesting thing. I know for humans, what stays with you is if you do end up getting pregnant by a guy, if you're a girl, that, I guess you could say DNA stays within you, can stay within your brain even for years after conceiving. And I think even if you have a miscarriage or an abortion that was a certain guy's baby, I think that DNA can stay in you and stay in your brain for years after. And I know if you have a kid, that kid's, I guess you could say, DNA stays within your brain for like decades after. There's been studies on females that have some male DNA like in their brain or something, like there's some cell or something, I don't know the scientific word for it, and the researchers just chalked it up to either you had a male pregnancy, like you carried a baby that was a male and you either had a miscarriage or an abortion, or you had the kid, so that's what it's from, or it's from like a male twin that you had that, you know, never got born and that's why you have it, or it's from like an older brother, like your mom had a male kid and then she kind of passed that on to you a little bit lingering because it was in her still. Those are like the three things that science has chalked it up to, but that study with the flies really makes you think. It's kind of like epigenetics, like how smoking affects stuff, how drinking can affect stuff, just how, I mean, your emotions in general and your tendencies in general, your mood, your environment, all of this plays factors, you know, into what your baby is going to be like. So to say that past male partners can't affect, you know, your future children, to a certain extent, of course they do, you know? Maybe not so much on a physical level, however, it makes you think with that study with the flies. But on an emotional level, on a more psychological level, just on a more energetic level, I guess, more so epigenetics, okay? Has a little bit of an effect. You gotta give it a little bit of credit. At least the effect of those people on the mother and then the mother's effect on you. Same thing with guys. There hasn't been a lot of studies on guys pertaining to the stuff we've talked about. Like all of the stuff I've talked about, they tend to focus on the female. But makes you think, what about past partners that guys have had? Could that contribute to future children on like this energetic level, not a physical level, but at least some kind of energetic emotional level? I don't know. What do you guys think? I know I said this was a sciencey video and then there was like no scientific evidence, but that's what you get when you research it, okay? Like, yeah, we know that if you kiss somebody, their saliva's in you for like an hour or two after, sometimes more in weird cases. If you have sex with somebody, the sperm, if you're a girl, is going to stay in you for a few days. And then obviously if you guys exchange diseases or something, then that will stay with you for however long the disease stays with you, if it's lifetime or if you have to take something to clear it up or whatever. But it's the energetics that I'm interested in. I've heard that all of your cells in your body become new cells after 7 years. Like your cells are always dying and then new ones are being born. But everyone, I think, has heard that after 7 years, you're like a new person on a cellular level. So it's like after 7 years, those people haven't even touched you anymore. But they have on an energetic level, so that doesn't even matter, you know? I don't know. I just thought it would be cool to research. Didn't find very much when I researched it. Kind of have more questions than answers now, but that's okay. The more you know. Peace out.